Still
All right.
bloopers.
Welcome back to the Figuring Shit Out episode. We don't know. We are doing a part 2 with Mr. David Weiss,
Yeah.
Flat Earth Dave. What's going on?
What's going on, guys? Good to see you back here again. I think I had you thinking after our last podcast.
Yes, you definitely
That's
did.
a little bit.
There was some things that blew our heads up, and then there was some other things that I felt like, could probably be explained away. But we're back. We're going to talk about some other things that we didn't discuss the first time. I'm sure there's a whole other slew of things we could talk about. I am Bunny Flocks.
Sure.
We got King Arthur in the building. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, y'all know what time it is. Unify and thrive. I want to say it again for y'all. Y'all hear unify and thrive. You stand
All
for
the
nothing.
time.
You fall. I don't even know how to finish it, but man, unify and thrive. You know what time it is. Check out the website. Check out the app. Dave had my goddamn. I had my hair out last time, right? My shit was frying on camera. Each strand.
Facts.
But we back, man.
So Dave, what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, well, we can talk about anything you want, but what I want you guys to notice is things fall into three baskets. It works on a flat Earth, works on a globe Earth, or works on both. And what you'll find is just the end baskets get filled. The middle basket works only on a globe, never gets anything into it. So there has to be a point somewhere, during your journey where you say, why isn't anything in here? Okay.
Right.
And the way I like that, people get lost in the weeds and the stars and everything and trying to figure it out. I say, clear your head, reset, and then look at your world, experience your world and say, well, the horizon's flat. The oceans are laying flat. Perspective shows me how the sun goes away. I don't feel like I'm moving. And you'll realize that nothing will ever lead you to thinking you live on a ball except pseudoscience.
Or except mass media and what we've been taught all our life. Right,
yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's crazy that you say that because, like, I'm just saying, like, real science communities, like, how often do people actually go into real scientific communities, right, and actually delve into these? I mean, the common person, the common man and woman, or professional, right? Because they're usually so stuck into what they know, what they're doing, their own little world. They hardly ever
without
walk outside and just say, right, and like take a month just to study something to see what it's about, right? Because even that month of studying will expand your horizon or whatever you're trying to study, right? But they won't even do that because it is not a fault to people. It's just something that they are trained to do.
They believe in.
People accuse flat earthers of wanting the earth to be flat. We want the truth, and we took the time to look into it. I created a little bumper sticker. It says, "Earth is flat. We checked. You didn't." And that's
sets
the
them
truth.
off.
Yeah, people say, you just want it to be flat. You want to feel special. Oh, yeah, that's just what I want. I want everyone to ostracize me and say that I'm crazy. But the truth is, I want the truth. That's it.
Right.
And once you understand this deception, and once you understand, what the heliocentric model is, there's no way to ever go back there. All flat earthers have a few things in common. One of them is they wonder how the heck they ever believed in the globe. How were we so brainwashed? And we were all brainwashed because that's the only way you can believe in the globe, through lifelong and indoctrination and brainwashing since being an infant.
Right. And whatever happened to questioning, right? I thought science is supposed to be about asking questions. So if you pose a question, why does the scientific community en masse attack and ostracize and just not even entertain it? You know what I'm saying? I feel like, I feel like, okay, if you got a question, you have supposed evidence, you bring it forward, everybody tackles the question and try to find out the truth instead of just, no, we can't talk about that, you're crazy. I watched some TikToks with you, and I found it surprising how some of the people were talking down and insulting you. I thought that was very crazy and disrespectful. I didn't appreciate that, but it's almost like they have to do this insulting, downgrading, talking down on you, as if somehow those make their arguments better or make globe Earth true.
That is part of the programming. People say, well, is everyone in on it? How could everyone be in on it? You need millions and millions and millions of people in on it. We don't. We just need people indoctrinated so deep that they'll defend the globe that they don't even understand. They'll defend. They'll like, oh, we just put Elon just put a car into space, right? I'm like, did you watch it? Did you look at it? Did you look at any of it? If Elon put that car into space, how come that picture isn't on every magazine cover? Time magazine, Newsweek, Science magazine, Nat Geo, right? Nowhere. It didn't end up in any magazines. Every Tesla showroom should have that picture. This picture right here. Okay. But this is what they showed us. And you got the globe Earth down here at 170 miles high. Well, guess what? The space station, alleged space station, is 240 miles high. and you can't even see that much of the curve. Okay. This here alone shows you that they're lying. They're lying about that.
Yeah.
What else are they lying about? They're lying about
Dave,
everything.
I don't know, Dave, man. Technology kind of crazy. You can zoom out and zoom in from a particular point. I done seen somebody's phone from my window on my phone. You know what I mean? The zoom is kind of crazy, right? So technology is kind of crazy. But when Frank was talking about when communities are attacking, like I think all communities attack, don't you think? Like look at Beehive, right? Don't you say nothing about Beyonce? They can go nuts. You feel me? They can go nuts. Look at the Trumpers. Don't say nothing about Trump. They go, and I think every community has that. What is it?
Loyalty, maybe.
Yeah, that loyalty to defend what they believe in. You feel me?
Facts.
Right. You know, Michael, they sent, you know, now they're sending, you know, independent, you know, people into space. They sent Michael Strahan up, and his only quote was, "It was unreal. It's unreal." They're always telling us it's not real.
Right.
Okay. And they're supposedly sending up a whole bunch of non-astronauts, you know.
Captain Kirk.
Billionaire,
yeah. And the whole Captain Kirk thing, it's such a joke if you actually watch what happened. You know, supposedly they're up there in zero gravity for 4.5 minutes, and they only show us 1 or 2 seconds at a time, maybe 3 seconds at a time of them floating.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And it's absolute nonsense. You know, that William Shatner, this overweight guy, is, you know, 90 years old, is being hurtled into space, crashes into the desert, right? He crashed into the desert so hard, I think it would have broken every bone in his back. But then they just opened up the door, not a single medical worker, nobody, just a couple of no-name reporters, a couple of hot wives, right?
Right.
Slams into the ground, and then they just come in, everything is okay, and they're high-fiving each other. Jeff Bezos. These are the deceivers of humanity.
Hey, Dave.
I believe.
Hey, Dave. Again, technology is an amazing thing, bro. I can see something like that falling from the sky and not destroying itself.
Oh no, it's just the footage. They do have CGI. Hollywood is crazy with the imagery and the CGI, and if they wanted to trick you, they have the multi-billion-dollar, you know, network to do that. Is this supposed to be?
This is Shatner in space, but you know, they're actually listening to us because we point out, like, how come they're never looking out the window? So then the next launch, they're all looking out the window, but they're just looking at green screens. This is a 3-walled studio. You never see the 4th wall, and they're hanging from wires. Or this scene right here could be that they were in a 0G plane, right? In a little set that makes it look like they're in that capsule. And it's edit. They did a whole bunch. And it's absolute and total nonsense. Once you look at it,
too.
Yeah, once you look at it, you can't unsee it.
Why wouldn't they take? They should probably take children there instead of these old ass demon dinosaurs, right? No,
they're actually doing that. There's a program where they're taking I don't know, 6 or 10 people around the moon next year. I think next year or in 2 years. And
are the children?
No, they're young guys, you know, your age.
That's not young enough. I'm talking like 12, 15, because they're the ones who are going to benefit from this kind of technology and knowledge. Am I wrong? Or am I bonkers for saying that?
I don't think they can get children to lie properly, though. So.
That's what I was about to say. Right, a child would see the camera, see the lights, action.
He has way too many questions. He has way too many questions up there.
What else? You know, when I say, you know, all the people that attack on the TikTok comments and everything, I just ask them, is that your best proof? When they say, oh, Dave's a scammer, or, you know, this is a lie, they never offer a single proof. So if you guys were like still holding on to the globe a little bit, what would be the one thing that would make you question that is flat Earth real? What would be the thing that you would say that makes you lean towards the globe, or are we past that point?
So for me, honestly, for me, it would have to be some acknowledgement from the mainstream science community, not necessarily Neil deGrasse or Bill Nye, but maybe some major articles that push the question out there and have peer review actually take a look at it. Because as again, right now, mostly mainstream flat earthers are crazy. They don't even want to talk about it. They'll censor it, suppress it. And if you're on the mainstream science and you say globe earth, you're good to go. For me, it would have to become more mainstream. Not to say that if that doesn't happen, it's not true. I would appreciate a more acknowledgement of
the majority census fallacy or
Right.
peer reviewed fallacy. Because peer reviewed, what is peer reviewed? It's all of the people that are being paid to push the agenda that they believe in. They're the
Right.
ones that get funded, and they're the ones that peer review. So if you come to them and say, hey, mountains aren't pushed up from lava underneath, they're actually a completely different process. No one's going to peer review that. They're not going to even allow it to go into the
And that's a
journal.
flaw. Yeah.
So peer review is just a way to keep pushing the agreed
Same
upon nonsense. So, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson, we've been challenging him. We've been nicely, all different ways. We know that he's seen all of our challenges. We want to just have a discussion. And his answer is, there's no time to talk to flat earthers, right? There's no time to address flat earth concerns, but there is enough time for him to make video after video after video, straw manning us, gaslighting us, and just basic full out lies about what flat earth is. So, you know, Neil deGrasse, he's not a real scientist. He's a failed actor, and he's out there pushing the agenda along with the lying guy with the bow tie.
King, what would you need to believe? Like, what would need to happen for you to buy in?
Nah, I think he took my question, because I was going to ask him, what would it take for him to believe that the Earth was round? Like, that's
me.
Not like, yeah,
that's a good question.
Yeah. That's so show me physical curvature. Show me axial rotation. Explain to me how, because we're flying through space at 4.4 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before. How do all the stars reset? How does the sun and the moon eclipse each other on a cycle that repeats itself every 18 plus years? Right? The sun, there's like 2 eclipses, then one, and 2 years later there's another one. And then there's all these different things, and somehow that cycle repeats itself. That is a slap in the face to the gravitational model. It does not work. It's scientifically impossible. It's like a clock.
Let me cut you off right quick. So, bro, nature
doesn't lie.
Nature doesn't lie. Nature has a pattern. I just read that there was an animal that has quadruplets every time it reproduces. It's the same exact animal. Look at animals when they reproduce for a reason, and 9 times out of 10 they're exact replicas, and it's the survival of the fittest. They kill lame, hurt animals, right? Babies. If they can't fly out the nest, you're out of here. So when you're talking about nature in itself repeating itself, I'm looking like that's what it does.
Well, there's cycles in nature. That's a true statement.
Guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
So we got about 15 minutes left. What is let's come at me with give me a globe proof, something that doesn't make sense on flat Earth, something that makes you believe the Earth is a globe. But I'm looking at your eyes right now. You guys don't believe we live on a globe. You're smarter than that.
No, it's not. It's different. Me too. It doesn't matter to me. It's more like, if I can go into space and see that there's a globe there, and that would satisfy me, but it wouldn't do anything for me, right? Because I'm not a hard believer that this thing is flat. Even they took me up in space and I seen that this shit just kept going and 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 going. Right. It wouldn't bother me none either. But like, oh shit, they lied to me for 100 years. But they've been lying to me for 100 years, for 400 years.
There's all type of propaganda out there. We don't know what to believe. I feel like there's different type of matrices, right? There's a global matrix, there's a flat earth matrix, there's a matrix of a whole nother group of people that believe in Palladians and aliens and UFOs and a savior coming from space. So it's like, how can you know for certain that you didn't escape the globe matrix and now you're in the flat earth matrix of belief, and there's another matrix to break out of that and enter into, and then you're just in all these different type of thought matrices?
Yeah. So again, what is reality? Where are we? What is going on? What are we doing here? Those are all great questions. You want to say that we're in some sort of simulation? Yeah, I call it a physical simulation. Our soul is manifesting in these avatar meat suits, and we're having this experience in this realm. That's the best description. Okay. We're in this topographical horizontal realm. Okay. And that's where we live, and we can't live anywhere else. Right. So there's tons of proof that, there is no curvature, that every bit of true science shows that the heliocentric model is absolute and total nonsense. So again, what difference does it make? Well, the difference it made for me is when I found out that the Earth is intelligently designed, that I'm at the center of creation, that my thoughts have great power, that they're hiding resources, land, free energy. They're hiding all of this stuff from me. It kind of pissed me off a little bit. And then it empowered me to, do the best that I can do to help unplug people from the heliocentric matrix, right? The heliocentric matrix. Go watch the movie The Matrix. It's telling you everything. The ball is a prison for your mind. You're in the matrix if you live on the ball. Okay. Right. Break out of the ball and you live on the flat plane. Right. So every magnetic field has a flat plane in between it. So it has a torus field above and below. So they've hijacked this torus field, this celestial sphere, and they said, oh, the Earth is a sphere, when the truth is we are on the level plane in the middle of this electromagnetic system.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
So would you, if somebody said, hey, Dave, get your ass on this spaceship.
There is no space. If I said, hey, King, get your ass in a Bugs Bunny cartoon and see if Roadrunner kills you. Okay. That's the same
Somebody
thing.
would probably, they would hand me some VR goggles.
Well, you know what?
Hand me some VR goggles.
And that's the same thing with NASA. They'll hand you some VR goggles and shake your chair a little bit and tell you went into space.
Ooh.
Nobody goes into space. And that's a hard thing for people.
Wait.
Go ahead.
You're telling me if NASA put you in a spaceship and sent you in the sky and you seeing this shit, it was circular like your testicles, and you wouldn't believe it? You would just say they just shook me up and I got some goggles out in the window?
Well, so you're doing a hypothetical situation. Nobody goes into space. Yeah, but they're not. They're not, because they don't shoot people into space. Rocket ships, giant rocket ships, are scientifically impossible, because there's I forget what it's called, but the bigger the ship, the heavier it is, the more fuel it needs to get off. True. The more fuel, the heavier it gets. And it gets to a point very soon, very short, that it's too heavy to lift off. These 4 million pound shuttles that are going off are scientifically impossible. Okay. Nobody's ever on there. The only rocket that anyone really goes in, it would be Mad Mike Hughes, who was a stuntman, and he was trying to jump a canyon in a steam powered rocket to get the record for the highest steam powered rocket jump, 1,800 feet. 1,800 feet. There's buildings taller than that. Okay. And then he killed himself. He actually crashed and killed himself. But he had a sign on the rocket that said "Research Flat Earth." So all of the media and all of the world ran with that story. Hey, crazy flat earther kills himself trying to prove the Earth is flat. Okay, jumping 1,800 feet. Why don't you just go to New York City, go in a building? Okay, you go a lot higher than 1,800 feet.
That's crazy.
So you like that word scientifically impossible, but bees flying is scientifically impossible. I just, every time you say, I just bring it back. Look into it. The wings, you've seen the movie. The body's too big. They're not aerodynamic. The wings are too little.
The way they tell you bumblebees are scientifically impossible. That's why they use this harmonic resonance to fly. They're literally using the electrostatic field to fly. And there's tons of information on that. You guys have my app yet? Go to the gravity section. There's videos on that. Watch that stuff and then go do experiments yourself. Don't just believe me. Don't just believe a video. Right. Go verify this stuff. We're here. We're humans on this Earth. We can verify tons of stuff here. We can't verify what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. We can't verify higher than we can send a balloon, which is 120,000 feet. Okay. But we don't need to. We can say the ball's not here. We don't know. Like people say, Dave, what are stars? Well, I have a theory on what stars are, but I can't go out there and touch them. But I can prove that they're not, burning balls of gas in a space vacuum trillions and trillions of miles away, because that's actually scientifically impossible.
But again, you're scientifically impossible as well, right?
Absolutely. As a random speck, like I evolved from an evolution, from a strawberry. I turned into a friggin' human with eyes that can see and a brain that can think and do all this Dave, stuff. Absolute nonsense.
I'm amazed at how much energy you put into this. If you put your energy into creating something for the greater good, you might be able to cure world hunger, bro.
Well, I actually am going to cure world hunger, because when everybody wakes up to the flat Earth reality that we're not on a spinning globe, we're going to take back this world, and there's food everywhere. There is no world hunger.
I believe that. I believe abundance. Yeah.
You can find a seed that your grandmother put in a jar 50 years ago, stick it in the ground, water, the most precious substance on earth will fall from the sky, and food will grow out of the ground. Okay.
I believe abundance. Yeah.
There's an intelligence shortage.
That's
I
deep.
like that.
That's deep.
I
I do
love
believe
that.
abundance. I do believe all the talk of lack of resources and all this stuff. I do believe is to put a fear mindset on the people, put them in a low vibration so they can't manifest power and manifest things that they want. I do believe that. And again, when it comes to science and mass media, we know there's certain things that I could tell you we all understand and we're being lied to. I feel like there is a healthy abundance of evidence that NASA is lying, certain science industries are lying, and it's either we have to entertain it or not. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, if flat Earth becomes well-known knowledge, common core knowledge, everybody understands it. I just don't understand the real difference between believing flat Earth or believing globe Earth. How would it really change the world? I understand. We'll know that NASA lied, all these people lied that we're supposed to trust. So we won't trust these people anymore. But other than that, what is the real difference of
the real difference in the world is, and first going back to NASA, you said there's some evidence showing that they're not telling the truth. There's overwhelming beyond it's just beyond
Photoshop.
When you look at it, you realize, wow, not only these guys are liars, these are the biggest liars in the world. And every single thing that they ever tell us is absolute nonsense. But why, getting back to why, because they want you to believe that you're on a speck flying through an infinite universe where you are meaningless, where another asteroid can knock you out, where there's trillions of other worlds with, aliens, people, extraterrestrials on them. They want you to feel insignificant, powerless. They want you to give away your divine rights, right? There's divine law, which is the law of God. You're born with that. Nobody can take it from you. You can give it away. There's common law, which is the law of the land. Nobody can take that away from you. Then there's man-made statute law, admiral maritime law. That's the law of the courts. Okay. If they can get you down there and say, hey, we're above you, you have to buy these laws, you are giving up your divinity. They want to convince you that you're not in a divine place, that you're not a divine being, that you evolved from pond scum. Okay.
So
I don't think you guys evolved from pond scum.
I believe that. Do you think, okay, let's say we believe flat Earth, isn't there a limitation of mind to believe that there's just this finite space and a dome and there's nothing, I guess there's nothing beyond it, but feeling trapped. I don't know. I feel like if I believe it fully, I'll feel claustrophobic. I'll feel trapped. Like, what's beyond? You know what I'm saying? Like, but whereas the space globe model, we have all the galaxies, planets, it's a final frontier, right? So they say in Star Trek. I don't know. I feel like flat Earth kind of limits the limitation.
Well, that is a limit. If you believe that I don't personally believe that we're trapped in a dome. Now, there's a lot of flat earthers that do. That's okay. I couldn't tell you if we are or not. But what if we were here? We live here. This ring here is Antarctica. Okay. And then beyond Antarctica are other oceans and other lands, extra territory. Okay. Guess who lives on the extra territory? Extraterrestrials. Where do they live? In the outer space, here on the Earth plane. What if, and so now let's take it a little farther. What if the world was set up like this, where we live here in this little pond, in this pond, right? 24,000 miles around at the center of the pond, the equator, right? It's 70,000 mile circumference pond, right? And then there's other ponds here, right? You know what you call a piece of the plane? Each one of these ponds is a piece of the plane, a planet, a piece of the plane, right? And these are just thousands of miles away here on a level plane where we can live, not in ridiculous helio-nonsensical space.
So what would you say is outside of that border surrounding?
Outside here, well, this is this map here. Now, I'm not claiming this map is real. I'm claiming this is a scientific possibility. Okay. This could be real if we're right. Okay.
There's a lot of stuff going on here.
I think, well, this is 170 different ponds. Okay. Wow. So that's 170 planets right here. Just, the farthest one, what is that? I don't know, 100,000 miles away, a couple 100,000 miles away. That's nothing. Our closest star is 25 trillion miles away, closest. And the other ones are magnitudes farther, 25 trillion miles. Your brain cannot fathom that distance. Okay. Because if you were traveling at 100,000 miles an hour, impossible. It would take you 28,000 years to get to the closest star. Okay. And then you're going to crash in Roswell. Okay. If it was the other way around, nonsense. Actually, that is scientifically impossible. Right.
Or
This is scientifically possible. If somebody wanted to come from the extra land and come in and, let's say they're abducting people and, probing them, they can make it back home to their outer world in time for dinner with their kids.
Are there supposed to be humans on all those other domes, or are they?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying this is a possibility. We don't know what's beyond, right? And some people will get tied up in the Bible, go, well, God never mentioned there's more land. Well, there's all different ways to interpret the Bible and stuff. And I think that maybe he's talking about other kingdoms. Okay, I think those might be other worlds across the plane, but we've been put into this heliocentric prison, so we're not able to interpret the things, what we're seeing. The other thing is, talk about going up a spaceship. Let's pretend spaceships are real and we can go up. If we lived on a pond with a local sun, right? If you went up and up, that pond would turn into a ball. You would see a light. All lights in the distance turn into spheres. And then you would see the sun only lighting up part of it. And then you would oh, look, it's partially in the dark. And then you would look out into the distance and you would see all these other pinpoints of light. Well, those are the other worlds. And as you get closer to them, those ponds would start lighting up. And you could completely believe that you went from one ball to another ball, when the truth is you're just flying over a flat plane. Depends on how your mind is able to see. If you believe you live on a ball, everything you're going to see is a ball. But if you understand how our eyes work, how our eyes are curved, how we see, how perspective works, then you understand what you're really seeing. But again, we don't even need to go beyond Antarctica shoreline to prove the Earth is flat. Scientifically, testably, measurably, provably flat, because we can see too far. That's what did it for me. We can see too far. And then they say, well, it's a mirage. They saw Chicago skyline over Lake Michigan 50 miles away, and the weatherman goes, well, it's a mirage, and he's explaining this and that.
Right.
There's no mirages like that. And when you see a mirage,
seems like a gaslight. Yeah.
If you drive into a mirage, the mirage changes. It's like chasing a rainbow. Okay. And so we had two of our guys went down there on a day you can see it, calm water. They zoomed in on it, and they went 50 miles across the lake on a boat. And the skyline just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It never morphed out. The mirage never disappeared or flipped over or blurred out. So that actually scientifically proves that it wasn't a mirage. Therefore, you have two options. The Earth is a level plane, or which makes the most sense, or it's a lot bigger. But using their curvature formula, we've seen boats, ships that we know how far they are, even rounding severely down on their distance to give the globe every benefit of the doubt. If you use the curvature formula, the radius, which is the line from the center of the Earth to the surface of the Earth, would need to be over 380,000 miles. They tell us the radius of the Earth is like 38 or 3,900, under 4,000 miles, right? That's 100 times bigger. So if the Earth is 100 times bigger than they're telling us, that means there's probably 100 times more continents than they're telling us.
That's always sound arbitrary to me. Whenever I heard that number, though, even as a child, when I was younger, I was like, that doesn't even seem that big. What are we talking about?
But the problem is there is still curvature. No matter how big it is, there's still be curvature. The science of water says that at rest, it seeks its level, and its level is horizontal. On a globe, there's no such thing as a horizontal line or a parallel line. Right?
Gotcha.
There's a horizontal line. If you're standing on a point, you're horizontal to that point. And if you drew a line, a straight line out, that line is not horizontal because the Earth is curving away. So now it's at an angle. So there's no such thing as a horizontal line. Give me a break. How do they build cities?
Well, let me ask you, what do you think?
We got to wrap it up. 4 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
What is something you think? What do you think, aside from doing podcasts and spreading the gospel, what do you think is a way to get the mass public to understand this concept and believe in it, or just entertain it, outside of trying to get mainstream to change its tune? Like, what do you think will be the catalyst to get mass adoption of this belief or understanding?
Guys, we're doing it. You're doing it. We're going to the streets. We're getting the common person, and we're getting more and more big people out there. There's a lot of people that have big audiences, big names that are coming out flat Earth. There's a lot that are already flat earthers that haven't because they're a little afraid, but I think that time is changing. And, the easiest way is if, somebody with one of those huge social media accounts goes, check this out, flat Earth, then it goes viral. Literally, the world could wake up overnight. But when this wake up,
the last time they did that, they lost their job.
it doesn't matter. At that point, everything is going to change. Everything's going to change.
Right.
Anybody that knows the earth is flat, that is not doing something to spread this word, is literally fighting for our enslavement. Okay. They're fighting for our enslavement. And we don't want to be like that. We want to unplug from the heliocentric sinister matrix. We call it the helio sinister trick.
Yeah.
And
get out
and claim our divinity, claim our true power, and live to our true potential. That's what this is about. It's amazing.
Right.
And you know, anyone that wakes up to flat earth never leaves. They never leave. They never stop thinking about it because it resonates with their soul, right? I believe your soul is the driver of your avatar in this physical simulation.
That's facts.
Listen to, Dave, you might not listen to hip hop, but listen to Lauren Hill, Get Out. I Get Out. listen to it. You'll like that song.
All right.
That's dope,
sure you'll
man.
like it.
I'll check it out.
I would love to see Neil deGrasse debate a flat earther.
He won't.
I'd pay thousands of dollars. I'd sit right in the front row and just watch.
We had him scheduled to debate a flat earther on the Joe Rogan show, and he backed out.
That's very suspicious. I don't know. I feel like if he was really
we can get him under coercion.
We
can tell him. No, let's tell him we're gonna interview him about something crazy and then start talking about flat earth shit.
You can trick him. You can trick him that way. Have the flat earth guy just come in and surprise them and just throw him on the spot. But I would really love that. Not to say that I don't believe either or, but I really feel like people of his stature on that level should debate it and stop acting scared of it. Stop acting afraid of it. If you really believe in your science, defend it against someone else, against a flat earth. I feel like that's what should really happen. But great talk, man. This is really good stuff.
All right, guys. And check out flatearthdave.com. Check out my app. Hit the frequently asked questions button. Hit the more resources buttons and find other flat earthers on there near you.
Educate
so you
yourself.
can have intelligent conversations because you're going to lose all your friends and family when you tell them the earth is flat.
I believe it. That's how people are.
But they'll come around eventually.
So
all right, Dave.
All right, guys.
Who knows?
Thanks, man. See ya.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep.